three really, excuse me, really excellent perspectives that interact a lot with each other. So I guess my first question would be to each of you, what in what was said by the other two of you struck you as related to, or maybe even a little contradictory to, some of the things that you hold most dear in your understandings of sustainability?
I'd be interested in knowing more about the natural medicines that you're talking about, Daniel.
I would too. I know someone you can talk to about that at any time.
Yeah. Is it available on the internet? Is that information available?
Yes, it is. And I mean, like with anything else on the internet, you've got to take everything with a grain of salt, and you've got to know what source it's coming from, because everyone claims that everything is a miraculous cure practically there. But
PubMed. There's a lot of,
PubMed?
yeah, PubMed.
PUBM, okay.
Studies on it.
I know that at one time there was a natural medicine practitioner in a doctor's office in Lebanon. He's no longer there. But I found it fascinating, and I used some of his prescriptions, and they were effective.
He actually has a nonprofit, or a sliding scale clinic now in Louisville that Lily is an herbalist at.
Okay, okay.
That was Myron Hardesty.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
The Dominican Sisters of Peace have a center in Great Bend, Kansas for holistic health, and many people come for treatment and variety of herbs, and really get a lot of help. It's really a phenomenal thing.
That's very interesting. Where is it in Kansas?
Great Bend, Kansas.
Great Bend, Kansas. Okay. Is it connected with West Jackson?
I get what?
Is it have any connection with West Jackson's?
No, but with the Garvey Center in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
I can get you material from that.
Okay, I'd be interested in that.
All right, so coming back to the conversation among the panelists, were there any other things that struck you from what each other said that you want to kind of lift up?
For me personally, Martha's talking about imagining the virgin forests, to me is just heartbreaking, and I just every time I think about that, I mean, we can't have it back, and so, but it's just we have to at least go forward trying to make better decisions in the future, and I guess that would hopefully encourage you to do that, but also I just find it heartbreaking.
Every time I see a truckload of trees on the road, I have a heart-dropping moment and think, what are we losing there? And I hope that it's being harvested responsibly, but I'm not convinced of that. And I know that much of our local wood is being exported to Asia. So,
I don't mean to go back to the herbs, but I have to, because I think that in addition to them being an alternative for a lot of medicines, pharmaceutical medicines, I think there's also a strength of growing them locally, growing them yourselves and growing them locally. And there's, again, this climate, I've had success with over 60 different herbs that I have a closet just full of tinctures and teas, and I'm happy to provide them to anybody who asks. But a lot of them are very easy to grow, and they're abundant. And Kentucky is welcome, so it's a very welcoming environment for a lot of the medicinal herbs.
I remember my grandmother, the older generation used many of these. And I know that the Indians had a culture that used local herbs. So
the woods are still, if there's some pristine woods that I have access to that have golden seal growing in them and black cohosh, and but the ginseng has been robbed by and large, but the plenty of native herbs as well in the woods.
Even apart from the medicinal use, just the pure pleasure of homegrown herbs. Like I have a spearmint plant in my herb garden, and I pick those leaves 3 or 4 times during the season and dry them. And drinking that spearmint tea is, I mean, it's just delicious. And when you're drinking it, you taste the heat of the sun from the summer because you remember what it was like when you picked it. So like often when I have friends over, I'll offer them that tea and they're like, spearmint tea. And then it's, oh, this is good. So, I mean, just small, simple pleasures like that, I think, help to connect us better with the wonders of the natural world. I guess another question is, like, how, we're kind of talking about the mourning, mourning, of, what's been lost already. And I have the same reaction you do, Martha, when I see a load of trees go by in a truck. It's like bodies to me, all these dead beings being hauled off to who knows what fate. But how do we carry the mourning side, the deep grief of what the damage that's already been done, and at the same time carry the hope side of the energy that we need to muster up to keep on enjoying and savoring and protecting all that is protectable at this point? I think that's a challenge of my own life, and I'd like to hear how you all deal with that.
I go back to what Wendell Berry says, is all change starts locally. We have to do what we can in the life that we live and the people that we know. And I'm not sure that we can do much more than that other than just follow Sister Claire around and support her. She's out there fighting the evil.
That's right.
But if we can get our local people, and there is a strong vein here in this area of people who raise their own gardens and raise their own food. But it's they're also the same people who don't hesitate to take a bulldozer and clean a stream bed out and leave it bare and let the dirt run down. It's so I don't know how we educate people to think differently, but I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I've definitely struggle with that constantly too. The mourning, like you said, and the enthusiasm for what is coming, because there is, when push comes to shove, human beings have always proved resourceful, and push has come to shove, and so there's the crisis and there's the opportunity, and I do feel like there's so much opportunity now, and there's so much that has been bubbling up, that people, it seems like when it comes up, I feel like people really do take heart. I know that there can also be a blind eye and damage done, but I feel like for of that still exists, there's quite more. There's more that are taking heart in some way or another. And I think when you mentioned just the deep caring that comes because of that. So to have to look at the hardship and then rise above it, I feel like that's what we're seeing more of than just destruction and ignorance.
And I think thinking about the mourning of what we've lost, it can encourage you to try for the future, but it's important to just acknowledge how hard a fight is going to be, and what a dangerous position we are in as a culture, and how tenuous it is going to be, and that shouldn't be demotivating. But you have to be realistic, I think, about how much work there is to do and the power of the forces that are against it. I mean, it's so stupid that on one side you have the love for nature and you have a love for our world as it is and our way within it, and on the other side you have a love for money. And that's such a... it should really be something more evil and dark than that. It's so depressing that that's the battle. It's between that and people that just love cash and stuff. And I don't know, it's... but that's the fight, you know. So.
And that's a good way to say it. It's a fight between profit, more, have more, own more, get more stuff on the one hand, and loving what is a part, much bigger than us, the whole natural world, enough to say, here's where I'm going to stand. Yes, I need money, my family needs money, and economy is important, but the economy is a part of the whole of life.
Like the coal production areas, like someone might, and I heard in an interview someone said, I want you to look at those miners and tell them they can't have a job. And, it's like job, money. And I understand those are important issues, but at the same time, someone else is going to have to look their grandchildren in the eyes and tell them that there's no mountains left, that there's that their environment is ruined, and that they're going to be guaranteed not to be able to have a healthy life within it because of the choices that their grandparents made. And so, it's hard.
But I also feel like what continues to be revealed is a lack of quality of life. And that's another wake-up call. That when you look around and the countryside looks like a subdivision, I mean, that's a wake-up call. I found, I didn't grow up in farming, but coming to agriculture, it's not just good work, livestock are very entertaining. I mean, I don't seek outside entertainment, the cows and the pigs and the chickens and people who enjoy that and the good food on the table. And so there's such a loss of culture, not just the natural environment, but the culture and the community that comes around the table. And so that's another thing that's, I think, I hope that is waking people up.
Just the idea that we could have more fun if we live differently.
Yeah.
And it has struck me, TG Kentucky has a plan to plant 35,000 trees on March 23rd. That's an industry in Lebanon, and on their own property they're going to plant 35,000 trees in one afternoon under the direction of a Japanese botanist who's figured out a better way to plant trees. But anyway, nonprofits are invited to get teams to go over and help be part of planting these trees. In 1 week's time, New Pioneers got 56 volunteers without much difficulty at all. And I think yes, New Pioneers will get paid for each team, and that's a part of it. But I think the other part of it is that people want to have fun together. And there's something about everybody going out together on the same afternoon and doing something that seems impossible, but you have to get dirty to do it, that's like fun, and you don't have to spend $1 million to go out and do something fun. So I think what you're saying about the cultural part being essential to the transformation that we need to make. It can't be just out of duty and responsibility and guilt. It has to be out of, we would really like living this other way a whole lot better than we like the way we're living now. And that will motivate. It's like whether the food tastes better or not could be a big motivation.